The best way that you can prevent arm injury is by knowing how much to throw. 1 in 4 baseball players ages 8 to 18 have had arm injuries related to overuse, and 3 in 4, 75%, have reported throwing through arm pain. This is an astonishingly terrible number for the health of our youth baseball players' arms. The number one predictor for arm injury is throwing through arm pain. That is, almost every arm injury is caused by throwing through pain. Yet 75% of our youth baseball players are doing exactly that and putting their arms at risk. When you know how much to throw, you could keep your arm safe and prevent injuries. First, every time you throw, it should start with a warm-up to get your arm stretched out, warm, and ready to throw at higher velocities. Now, when you warm up, you should do it a certain way to make sure you don't injure yourself right away. Start fairly close together and just nice and easy throw the ball to each other. And then slowly you can start to move back, move farther apart from each other, still nice and easy tossing. You'll notice that the path of the throws I'm tracing don't have large arcs on them. You just want to nice and easy lob it in, stretch your arm out until you get farther and farther apart. And as you get farther and farther apart, you'll be forced to throw harder and harder as your arm naturally warms up. Now, I would like to stress, do not throw as hard as you can. Do not throw on a line during this phase. Throw nice and easy with a lot of arc on the ball. Now, as you start to move back in, now is when you can start to throw harder and pull the ball down. So you'll notice now the diagrams I'm drawing have a lot less arc on the ball, because when you throw, you should be trying to throw in a straight line, throw it harder to your partner, and get your arm fully ready to throw super hard. Now, once your arm feels stretched out, loose, it's obviously going to take more throws, and I just diagrammed out in this example. Then you're done warming up, and you're ready to move on to the next stage. Next, I'm going to be talking about 3 main portions of the year, and how you should throw differently in each of these portions. The first I'll be talking about is the off-season. The off-season should be exactly that. During the off-season, you should have no throwing. This should be at least 4 months out of the year in order to fully heal your arm and get it back to its shape where it can be ready to throw hard again. If you throw all year round, the wear and tear that go on your arm year after year will almost certainly lead to an overuse injury down the road. During the preseason, while you're gearing up to work towards the regular season, the key is balance. If you throw too much, your arm could get stressed too fast too soon, and if you don't get injured during the preseason, you'll set yourself up for failure if you overwork your arm. On the other hand, if you don't throw enough during the preseason, your arm won't be ready for the rigors of the regular season, and you could experience an injury once you get to there. The key is to listen to your arm and what it's telling you. If you throw one day and your arm feels good, doesn't feel sore at all, and it feels like you could have thrown more, then the next day stretch it out and throw a little bit more. On the other hand, if your arm feels tired or maybe sore after a day of throwing, then take it easy or even don't throw the next day. By listening to your arm, you can know how much to throw in the preseason and slowly ramp up towards the start of the regular season when your arm will need more vigors. During the season, you're probably never going to throw too little. More likely, you will often throw too much. Now, we want to prevent this from happening as much as possible, and we'll talk more about pitch count limits later in the video. But essentially, if you feel any soreness at all, you need to stop throwing immediately. Pitching through soreness is what will cause your arm to get injured. And if you are sore, or even if you're not sore, it's a good idea after pitching to ice your arm. This will help the swelling go down. It can help your muscles heal as the swelling goes down. Every time you pitch, keep track of the amount of pitches you throw and consult with this chart. This chart is information that lets you know how much is the absolute maximum that you should throw. The numbers in this column are hard stops, so that once you reach this number of pitches in a single day, then you should stop throwing and be taken out of the game. Now, This part of the column tells you how many days you should rest after throwing a certain amount of pitches. For instance, a 15-year-old who throws 47 pitches should not throw for the next 2 days. Now, some light throwing and playing like a regular position would be okay, but they should not pitch or catch, as this puts too much stress on their arm with that much throwing. Now, this table is very helpful for knowing when to stop throwing, but if you experience any arm pain before reaching any of these numbers, then you should stop throwing immediately. Listen to your arm before you listen to this table, and never exceed these pitch count limits while throwing. And always rest the required amount of days. Now, I shared a lot of information during this video, but the thing that's most important to remember is to never throw through arm pain. As soon as your arm feels sore at all, you should stop throwing, rest it, ice it, and wait for it to heal up before you throw again. This is the most important thing you can do to prevent injury, and if you listen to this, chances are your arm will not get injured.